Remember a week ago when they were gushing over The Last of Us Part 2 sales? Well, this game in Japan dropped 85% week on week. Yep, The Last of Us Part 2 sales dropped 85% week on week in Japan. The Last of Us Part 2 box sales for Japan, it seems that the game sales has dropped the second week. To be accurate, it's 85%. Uncharted 4 dropped 38%. Spider-Man dropped 42%, God of War 45%, Days Gone saw a 60% drop. The Last of Us Part 2 had 138,000 copies, and now it has only sold 25,000 copies. This has to tell something for Naughty Dog in The Last of Us Part 2. Everywhere we look, it's dropping highest for any PlayStation game, okay? Nobody wants this game, okay? People are trying to sell this game at record rates, okay? And yeah. The Last of Us Part 2 promoted the 4th position. Animal Crossing New Horizons, Ring Fit Adventure. I don't know why people are buying that, but again, and Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. All ahead of The Last of Us Part 2. It was only last week they were gushing over The Last of Us Part 2 selling be number 1 on the charts. Well, no one can anymore. The Last of Us Part 2 fell all the way down to number 4 because The Last of Us Part 2 is awful. No one wants this. In Japan, people don't want to buy it. Obviously, it dropped 85%. I won't be surprised if it's digital too. It dropped 80%. I think everywhere is going to drop 80%. Sold 4 million. It's probably going to sell 200,000 copies the second week. Barely over 200,000 copies. Probably in Europe on 100,000, in USA 100,000. Japan 40,000, no 25,000, and the rest of the world another 30,000. Okay, because it's banned in the Middle East. You can't play this game in the Middle East. So that's probably, and also digital sales and 200,000 copies. So, 50,000 copies for digital outside of America and Europe. That is not good for The Last of Us Part 2. These are not good sales. No, they're guessing, oh my god, The Last of Us Part 2 sold so fast. Well, it dropped 80%. It's not selling, it's not having legs, okay? And yes, it did sell for 4 million copies, according to Sony, okay? But again, it's dropping 80% everywhere, okay? 80% everywhere. Okay, 80% of like 4 million, I think like 200,000 copies. Okay, that is abysmal sales. Okay, and now in Japan, it's being behind, and now it's being beat by Nintendo. Last of Us Part 2. This is supposed to be the big game of the PlayStation 4. Well, it isn't. It's gonna be the big whimper of the PlayStation 4, the big death of Sony. And yep, The Last of Us Part 2 had another massive sales drop. It just doesn't get good for The Last of Us Part 2 anymore. And yep, that's basically it. Goodbye.